I think sometimes it's just a barrier to us getting started. It's like, well, it needs to be excellent. I need better equipment or I need a better this or that. But if the content is good and authentic, I don't know that people really care that much.
Welcome to the Digital Ministry Podcast. I am your host, Nick, and I'm super excited about this conversation today. It's already off to a great start. Today, returning guest, Daniel Hall. Welcome back, Daniel.
Thanks, man. It's good to be here again. It's been a bit.
Tech maven, leading thinker extraordinaire, currently guiding the ship at One Hope. So you guys are doing cool stuff, and I'm a big fan. So thanks for being back. And little sister, I don't want to minimize.
That's all right. I'm a proud little sister.
Yeah,
Little but mighty. Been leading the way ever since she came on the scene.
Yeah, that's right.
It's because Tate. He was farting on my pillow, so I had to figure out how to. Those leadership roles started early.
That's right. I got to take control of this situation. So, Holly, thanks for being here. You are, for those that don't know, you've done a ton of stuff with Media Impact International, who sponsors and produces this podcast. Most notably is MII University. You and I had.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's like a marathon session where we recorded all that you need to know to get started with digital ministry years ago.
It really was
6 or 7 years ago.
At least. That was so fun. I remember that vividly, and that was such a fun day that it was like a Saturday or something, right?
I think so.
Mm-hmm, we knocked it out.
Yeah, one day marathon session. And it was good. So Jay, our mutual friend Jay Cranda, just reviewed it. He's like, I wonder if that still kind of is good or if it's outdated. And so he rewatched everything just a couple of weeks ago. He's like, it's still solid. So
yes.
Yeah,
thank you, Jay.
Timeless content there. So if you haven't checked out MII University, I encourage you to do so on mii.global.
Also,
website.
That was before AI. Like I hand wrote all that. Well, not hand wrote. I mean, obviously on the computer. Call me, man. I really am being a boomer today. I hand wrote with candlelight and a whatever pen. No, I typed all of that myself. And I remember because I was working a full-time job and this was a side project at the time. And I have vivid memories of sitting at my desk at our house typing out these lessons about persona and value proposition and all paid ads, like all of the things with my own brain and no AI help. And also, aren't we so grateful for AI now to be able
like a caveman.
What did we ever do? You guys saw this article about how AI kills your brain. Probably. Did you see that?
I did.
I've seen, it's circulating.
I mean, is it, you worried that you're losing your sharpness?
No.
Just hook me up. Just give me the mainline AI. I'm all in. That's where
I think everybody has said that about any big technological thing, right? Like, I feel like people were probably saying that when the internet happened. People say about the iPhone. And I think, of course, like our brains are going to change. I think that's part of I'm going to say a word that might trigger some of us, but the evolutionary process of whatever you believe or don't believe about that term or word. But I just think that's a part of us. Like, yeah, we are going to change, but I don't think it means that we're going to become less smart or, it'll just be different. We'll think differently.
Yep. Adapting to the new technology for sure. And it's like computers. Everyone thought we were going to lose our brains because computers were doing everything for us. I'm basically just repeating what Holly just said. But every new technology, people have had FUD. Have you heard that? FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt around it.
Yep.
Oh.
So when I see things like that, I just think, oh yeah, this is the latest FUD. Go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt. Superintelligence is on the horizon. At some point, this is the point where AI is smarter than the collective, brain power of the human population. There's all sorts of fears and uncertainty and doubt around that. I heard somebody say recently, one of two movies is going to play out over the next 5 to 10 years. It's either going to be WALL-E or it's going to be The Matrix.
Oh.
Which one? Are you team Wally or are you team Matrix on this one?
I don't like those options
No,
exactly.
neither one of them are good, by the way.
But
Mhm.
to fly like Neo would be pretty sick. So I'd have to probably vote for that reality.
The
I'm pretty
I don't
machines
know. The
take
sure.
ending
over.
of Wally's good. Like the endings of Wally's humanity finding itself again through the help of this little robot guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
I'm
know.
pretty sure I fell asleep in both of them, which is what I do in most movies. So I feel like I can't answer that question very well, but I think that that is just really great clickbait because here's where like lately when AI first like when ChatGPT first came out, I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is incredible," which it is, and was using it as a thought partner and had a custom GPT where I'd uploaded it with a lot of my like business stuff. So it really was trained on my framework and all that kind of stuff, which it still is. But I feel like most recently it's been making more mistakes than ever. So especially when it comes to like like I was working on a business plan not too long ago and was trying to like numbers is like my weakest point when it comes to like business or organizational leadership. And so I was talking to it because I am a verbal processor. And so I like to go on walks and talk to my chat GPT, and go back and forth with it. And so I was telling it like the numbers that I knew needed to be there. And it kept putting this like $20,000 line item. And I'm like, why, where are you getting that? And it's like, oh, yeah, so sorry. I just made an assumption that you would have this cost. And I'm like, no, take that out. And so it would take it out and we would add some more stuff. And then randomly, like 30 minutes later, it would put it back in. And so I think it's just like any new thing, like we still have to think critically. It's just a tool. And sure, is there a time on the horizon where it's going to be quote unquote smarter than us in some areas like logic and math and analytical reasoning? Absolutely. And I'm grateful for that day because I would love to never have to be in a spreadsheet again. Please. I would love that. But I don't see a time soon where it's going to be able to connect dots of people and the subtleties of things that we as humans can only bring to the table. And what do I know? I'm no psychoanalyst or software engineer or whatever, but the fact that it can't even like run me a number like for a business plan effectively right now just tells me that we're a pretty far away from getting to a place where it's going to be able to do everything for me. But that's my hot take.
Yeah, I don't disagree. It's been making a lot of mistakes for me too recently. Have you seen the
I
same
think
thing, Daniel?
I don't do number things either. Yeah. I actually have been putting off a couple of projects that are, yes, go to ChatGPT and just do number things. And so this is great. You're only pushing it back farther on my back burner. But I was going to go more meta away from numbers and just say that I think jobs may change, but they'll also evolve, and I think or will adapt in that way. And then the problems that we're trying to solve will just be different problems. And like I love how Holly just takes it on. I can't wait to never be in a spreadsheet again. The fact that like we're able to identify a felt need, that we use that phrase a lot, like to identify a human need, the fact that that takes organizations 6-9 months, maybe longer, to like address that, and we can now do that in scary fast, like within a day or two, like we can get a prototype out to actually address that need. I just feel like the time to market, or from idea, from spark, I've been saying spark lately, from spark to prototype, is so fast that like, yeah, bring on this new world where we're not having to have umpteen meetings, and we can just go, hey, here's the thing. Is there value here? Is this meeting the need? No? Great. Yes, maybe, iterate. Iteration, blink of an eye. Now what? Like, it's just removing all the barriers. And that's the part that I was in a meeting going on a rant similar to this one. And I was like, you guys, this is my like digital cocaine. Like, I'm addicted right now to this. Like, by the end of this meeting, we're talking about this thing this idea we have. By the end of the meeting, I can have you the thing we talked about. Like, I did that in one meeting, and it was not perfect, but it was like, I mean, it blew minds that we were talking about a resource that we wanted to send off to our teams. And by the end of it, I said, "Hey, click on this. Tell me what you think." And she's like, "This is it." I was like, "Yeah, we can do this now." That's
Mhm.
insane.
So what are you using? What do you like to use to build that stuff?
My vibe code platform of choice is v0.dev by Vercel. My stack to do that particular little tap dance was capture in granola, take the transcripts in chunks. Like, so she was articulating what she wanted to see, and I was just grabbing that part of the transcript, tossing it in VO, running that, looking at the prototype it was giving me, and, you know, shaping it. If you know anything about product, you can kind of like connect the dots for it, you know. And so I was even deploying it to a Vercel to where it would be behind a domain that she could click on, right? So I was deploying that, iterated on it a few times while we were talking. She actually had already done the work of creating an outline and a PDF, like a 3-page, 4-page PDF or something. I'm trying to remember the details. It's been a little while. Anyway, so I took that and I shoved it. I just threw it in. That's not true. I took screenshots and I uploaded the screenshots into V0. So I've got the transcript. I've got screenshots from an outline and a PDF. And I was just like, I want a digital expression of this. I want XYZ basic user experience stuff. And I just happen to know like this open source component library called ShadCN. It's like use ShadCN. That's the, you know, blah, blah, blah. And was able to just say, hey, click on this and see what you think. And it was a digital card sort activity based on this assessment that was built that was just like, yeah, sort the cards, see what you think. And it was fun to like, you know, side quest that while in the meeting. But yeah, so I use V0. There's plenty, you know, others have played with, you know, the Lovable's getting a lot of press right now because it just became a unicorn in like what, less than 8 or 9 months or something crazy.
Daniel
Yeah.
is an AI super user, you guys. It's pretty awesome.
Well,
Tell him about the browser you're using these days.
okay. Yeah. No affiliate code or anything. But so if you're familiar with the browser, some people like to play with their browser and try different browsers, and other people are very much like, nope, just give me Chrome. It's my bread and butter. If you've played with a browser in the last couple of years, you've probably dabbled in ARC, which in like especially developer product communities got a lot of traction. And they basically saw this AI opportunity to what I've been describing as, browsing the internet through AI. It's not like with a copilot on the side. It does have a side interactive component, right? So it comes up on the side for you, but it's watching everything you're doing and it's improving on your experience and personalizing your experience while you browse, which I understand that could sound scary to some people. And I am careful with how I still have Chrome over here to do certain projects. But when you are able to lean into a product like that and just kind of say, look, I make things better for me because I'm putting it all out there. It's pretty amazing. So a couple ways that I use that is YouTube video. I'm on the page. I can simply chat with the page I'm on, and it will pull the transcript, create the outline. I told it that I like to talk an analogy, and so I like to hear analogies. It gives me an analogy, sometimes too much, but it gives me an analogy for like big concepts now, which is like, oh, that's cool. That's fun. I've personalized it with my influences from Jesus to Seth Godin to the Black Keys to my favorite movies. And it just like takes all of that and just kind of shapes a personalization of my experience of the internet. Another fun hack. This one maybe we may regret, but I've been on LinkedIn and have clicked connect with someone that was like, you have to show you know this person by giving their email address.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Dia, what's their email address? Brrr. All right. Typically they use this structure. So try this. If that doesn't work, try this. And
Yes.
I've gotten 2 or 3 like pretty high level executives to connect because I knew their email address thanks to Dia as my browser.
That's cool.
So, and there's all kinds of, they're iterating their product and doing little scripts, little fun things you can do. So the world, and I do need to acknowledge Perplexity. A lot of people love Perplexity. They just released their browser. OpenAI is working on their browser. So this concept if you haven't already seen this around you and seen like the YouTubers and early adopters like playing with, I can't remember what Genesis or what's it called? What's Perplexity's called?
I
Can't
don't
remember.
remember. I've heard a lot about the
But
Perplexity browser though.
yeah, Dia right now is free to use. It's like beta. It's free. They are being upfront. You will pay for it. They'll have a free tier, but then to pay for certain features. Right now, I think Perplexities is straight up $200. Like it's like at a pretty decent cost. So if you want to go dabble and play with something like that, I really think the early builders on that, which I want to give credit to the browser company in New York. That's the name of the company that developed Arc and Dia. Also, side note, Josh, I don't remember his last name, but Josh, the CEO of the browser company, he's one of the more interesting tech CEOs to listen to about the future of the internet. He's a sociology, he studied sociology in school. So he's a sociologist, by study, but like now leading CEO of a technology company. And I just love that angle of sociology first, and how people think. So I now ranted about browsers for probably 20 minutes.
No,
I just
AI, not
looked up.
browsers.
Yeah, the AI browser as a concept. But
Mm.
I think a lot of people are starting to recognize that at least maybe it's the first step towards the everyman's experience of the internet and the future use of the internet, because we all live in the browser. Most of us live in the browser. So what does that expression look like as kind of the next big adoption? And so it's really fascinating, whether it's Perplexity or Dia or whatever OpenAI's version is going to be.
I do think that's one of the things you're talking about that is really cool, which is like Dia curating, like you've been able to give it what you want to curate it, which is also what you can do with agents and with, instructions on ChatGPT and projects, which is awesome. However, I do think a danger is what we've already seen happen with social media when we're being fed our own interests or opinions.
Yeah.
Is we aren't being challenged. Our thinking isn't being challenged by other perspectives. And that is, I do think, something that we need to already be aware of prior to AI, and now more than ever. Like that can be dangerous if we're just living in our own, what do you call that? Like sounding
Echo chamber.
Echo chamber. That's
Yeah.
exactly the word I was looking for. Yes.
So one of the things you mentioned that I want to go back to is from Spark to Prototype. And if you're listening to this and you haven't listened to the Seth Said What episode that we just published before this, go back and listen to that. But what I want to talk to you guys about is this is a new podcast that you all just launched. Like I got a text message a couple weeks ago. Like, hey, we're doing this new thing. Check it out. Heavily using AI tools in order to record, publish, produce this podcast. So like literally 20 minutes ago, we finished recording. Have you posted it yet?
Yep. 16 minutes past when we've pressed end over there. And I just did it while we were talking. So it is out into the ether on SethSaidWhat.com.
So check out SethSaidWhat.com. Listen to this podcast that Daniel and Holly are doing. It's great. And it's a daily feed of thoughts. And I haven't listened to all of them. I know you guys have mentioned me a couple of times and I missed those. So if that was like an Easter egg, I totally missed it. But
yeah, we're testing who our real friends are by mentioning names throughout and seeing.
That's right. But so anybody listening to this, I would say, and I think you guys would agree, podcast, I mean, it's been resurging for a couple of years, but it's like, I missed the wave. It's 2025, maybe, and it's kind of a big learning curve and all this stuff. I don't think that's been your experience. Like you've just kicked this thing off kind of out of nowhere and done it fairly easily. So you want to talk about how you record, like what's your process for putting that podcast out?
Yeah. The hardest part, honestly, it was just starting. And so Daniel sent me a text. Daniel, I don't know if you like Working Genius, Nick, but Working Genius is a kind of a personality / productivity assessment that Daniel and I love. And well, I'm certified in it. So I'm like a super nerd and kind of recruited Daniel into it. But he's an inventor. That's one of his geniuses. And so he has a million ideas a minute. And my genius is a galvanizer. So yours is too, Daniel, but discerner. And so inventors and discerners tend to work really well together because discerners are like, that one's a bad idea, but this one's really good, And then we're both galvanizers. So we're like, let's do it. So I get a text I don't even know, like, it felt like it was late at night. I don't know if it was, where he was like, wouldn't it be so funny if we started a podcast called Seth Said What? And it was daily riffs on Seth's blogs. And then I think he meant it as a joke. And I was like, that's awesome. Let's start on Monday or whatever day it was. So yeah, we had like 2 phone calls about it. And I had been wanting to explore Substack as a podcast platform because I have a few clients that I support, and was just, I think one of the reasons why podcasting can be overwhelming is because there is so much minutia that goes into it's like, okay, I need to pick my platform that I'm going to record. Then I need to pick my platform for where I'm going to host. Then I need to pick my platform for like how I'm going to edit it. And do I even know how to do that? Or do I have to hire somebody? And then writing the thing. And do I put it on my blog or do I find somewhere else? So all of that to me was overwhelming. I can only imagine for like a beginner, because this is now my 4th podcast to start over like a 13-year period. And so anyway, when Substack released a podcasting component not too long ago, I think it was only like maybe within the last year, I was like, okay, this would be really interesting. And so, yeah, I mean, I personally did it because I wanted to spend more time with my brother in this season where I was in a really demanding, high pressure job that I left in February, and am just in a season where I want to do work that I love with people that I love is kind of my mantra. And so wanted to spend more time with Daniel and then also just learn so that I can take this and not only build my own platform, but also help build the clients' platforms. And it feels much more fun and less risky to fail on your own terms rather than someone who's paying you. so so yeah, that's kind of the why. And then we can get more into like the nitty gritty, but Daniel, I'll let you kind of share what your inspiration was, and then we can kind of talk about like the whole, like how it works every day.
Yeah. Well, I think some of it it wasn't exactly a joke, but it was me. So I do have a lot of ideas. I'm an idea guy. But very quickly, I'm like, but I can't discern it, right? So that's not my genius. So I'm like, but that's a dumb idea, right? Like, that's stupid. That'll never work. So throwing it at Holly was a way to go, like, is there something here? I ask that a lot. Like, I'll either have an idea or feel like I recognize a pattern. And then I'm like, does anyone else feel like there's something here? And what do we do with that? And so that was what I was doing on Holly. And when she said yes, it was like, oh man, like this could
Now
be
we
like
have
a
to
real
do this.
thing. But the part, yeah, right. Because if you give it to Holly, it's, yeah, you're asking for it.
What do you mean that it's gonna happen? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. Like, you shouldn't have said nothing, you know. But you know, it was like really crazy, Nick. I didn't know this, but I'm like, well, I don't know, not to super spiritualize it or whatever, but I was like, okay, well, gosh, now there's going to be like potentially legal repercussions if, you know, we're using this guy's name, his daily blog. So I go into deep research and I'm like, pull me everything you can about if Seth's ever sued anyone for using his likeness or his name. Like, I want all the research on that, and look out for me ahead of like, what rabbit trails should I chase to like, is this a thing that we should even try to pursue? All that was, you know, green lights. There really wasn't much to worry about.
I didn't even know you did that, Daniel. Thanks for doing that. That's so cool. I'm the one that's like, oh, this is awesome. Like, not even thinking about the fact that we might get sued at some point.
It was that same night. So I knew if I told you, we would go fast. So I'm like, okay, what are we going to get sued? But point of that is, in part of that research, what's crazy is, you know, Seth is known for his blog, and he's done over 3,000 posts, I think, now consistently. Like, he's had some repeats or whatever, but like for the most part, 3,000 plus blog posts, daily blog posts. And for a long time, he was doing this Akimbo podcast. I was a subscriber, and I don't remember the cadence of it, but it was pretty regular for years and years. Well, come to find out, that night I go to look in the feed. There have been 2 Akimbo podcast episodes posted in 2025. I'm like, whoa, that's weird. Is there something broken? So I go jumping to all the podcast apps just to make sure it wasn't my feed or something. Come to find out, he posted about how he was going to be turning his attention to like just other projects and not doing the Akimbo podcast anymore. And I was like, whoa, this is crazy, because like that's a opportunity to fill a gap in podcast land where people were wanting to engage with Seth Godin content.
Mhm.
And yeah, they could get it from the daily blog, but like, I listen to podcasts while mowing the yard or in the car where I can't be reading. So what if we, until a cease and desist letter may arrive, what if we try and fill that gap? And that's, so you asked earlier, Nick, why do you read the podcast every time? And I kind of joke tongue in cheek, like maybe there's some kind of SEO, maybe putting all those words out there help us to be associated with him, and therefore we can like ride the coattails. But part of it's because I think that this could be an expression of the only way people engage with that blog content. And so I don't know, kind of a double take on why we read that every time. And man, it's also crazy that since we started this, he's gotten so verbose. Like they used to be like 2 or 3 sentences, like
So true.
for the most part, right? Like he would just drop some like what I've been calling a Godin cookie, like a fortune cookie, but Godin, and like real short.
That's a business idea. We should make fortune
Oh
cookies with
boy.
Seth Godin quotes and send them to him. I'm gonna
From
research
Seth
that.
Said what?
Yes.
Well, that's what it says on the outside. It says Seth Said what, and you pull it, and it's like there it
Yes,
is.
that's
That's the
what he
Godin
said.
cookie.
Oh my
Yeah. Okay.
gosh. Sorry, I interrupted you, but I'm Googling that right now.
Okay. Business idea number 7,412.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but that was like, that was anyway, that was a part of the process, is like, wow, this is so, what are the odds that, like not knowing that, and then there being a gap in this podcast medium for Seth Godin fans. And from what I also gather, there's not, I tried to do some research on Seth Godin podcasts. Weirdly, I think there's not really anything out there. So here we are. We're trying it, and we're doing it daily, which is insane. It's
Yeah.
unreasonable, and
Mhm.
we're trying it out.
This
So
is week 3, by the way.
identify an opportunity or a niche, and this is probably something that I think a lot of people who are listening to this might have had this experience. Like, oh, that'd be a great idea. I mean, you guys just had an idea about fortune cookies. You're looking at it.
You can get 100 for $70,
Yeah.
by the way.
And the
Yeah.
process there is like, well, what's it going to cost me? How hard is this to do? And then you kind of sort it like yes or no. But you guys went all in, and you're like, okay, we're gonna do this. So you record on Discreet, which is
Descript.
Descript, sorry,
Yeah.
is
No, it's
the
okay.
platform that we just used.
Mhm.
And then you load it onto Substack. What's the steps in between?
Yep. So literally, the other thing that's wild is we don't have this on our calendar every day. We usually text the night before and just like to each other and say like, "Hey," we try to do it in the morning, obviously. And it does help that Daniel's an hour ahead of me, and usually he starts his mornings a little bit later and I start mine a little earlier. So that's actually worked out really well. So it's been kind of like usually like 8 to 10 a.m. Central Time, where we'll find like a 20-minute window. But sometimes we're traveling. Some like if you've listened, like sometimes we're in the car. You can like literally hear me backing up in my beep, beep beep in my car, at a coffee shop, like wherever we might be. And so if we're on our phones, we both have iPhones, and you can actually record. Like now in the latest update, you just press record in the top left. So it's just recording audio. But yeah, if we're in front of our computers, we use descript.com. And it's very similar to Riverside. You pop in there, and I try to press record before Daniel gets in there, and it's very raw and unproduced. Like that's the point. And there's no there's no like formal intro, outro, logo. Well, there is a logo. Daniel made it, but yeah, like so we get in there, we literally sometimes we haven't even read the blog yet. We read it together and we just riff on it we try not to go over 20 minutes. Sometimes we have a couple times, but ideally it's like 10 to 15 minutes. And then we say bye and leave what they Descript calls it a room. And so you leave the room and it's very quick, probably because they're so short. If these were like hour-long conversations, it'd take longer, but it really only takes probably like, I don't know, 60 to 90 seconds to render it. And then you can edit it right there in real time in Descript. That's what, like, Descript is amazing. And full disclosure, like, I've only been a interviewee on Riverside. So I've never seen like your side of Riverside, Nick. So I
Right.
don't know what the editing features and stuff are. But on Descript, it pops you into like kind of like Canva for video and audio editing is kind of how I've been describing it. So I can see the transcript right there. You can edit out any filter, any filler words. You can just say like, edit that out. You can say like, edit our eye contact. Like if somebody's looking at a weird spot, it can auto edit eye contact, like all that stuff. I don't do any of that for ours, but you can. It's there. So anyway, I just press export, and then I go into our Substack and I upload the video. So then it has AI tools built into it that I use for the title, and then you can press summary and it will give you, I'll use that to inspire the subtitle, and then show notes where it will give you a little paragraph and then it'll give you like timestamps of kind of chapters throughout the conversation. So I copy and paste that over to Substack and then I edit it because it's pretty formal and we're not formal. So I'll edit it to make sure it sounds like us. But I cannot say like Anna Baker on my team, this would not have happened without her because she helped. I was literally, if you go to my LinkedIn, you'll see a photo. I was literally getting my hair done, which y'all don't know this, but for a woman who has naturally dark hair and wants to have blonde hair, it's like a 3 to 4 hour process every time. So I'm sitting there getting my hair done, video chatting with Anna and Daniel, and she's going in and like we're exploring Substack for the first time together. And Daniel had made a logo using, you used, did you use Sora for that, Daniel?
No, I went old school.
With Canva.
I used Illustrator.
Use Illustrator. Okay. So, but you were using Sora for like the inspiration, I think, weren't you? Or no? Oh, okay.
So I was playing a little bit with Suno. So if you really wanted to have like some music, I was like, well, what kind of AI music? Kind of like a Breakmaster Cylinders. All these podcasts I listen to, Breakmaster Cylinders. This guy who makes all this podcast intro music. I was like, what if I could make something in his style? But
got it. Okay. Well, Daniel made the logo. So we're like uploading the logo, and that's so Substack is phenomenal. I've been so impressed. You know, it was created as like a publication, like basically just a blog platform.
Right.
But they have been so forward thinking with, I feel like, leading the way on what Daniel was saying earlier about how people are consuming media through audio. You can actually go in and record audio or video right there inside of Substack. We don't do that because you can only have one person right now, I think. Actually, I should probably look into that. Maybe you can have two, but I think it's just one person. But you host the podcast through there. You set up the RSS feeds, like it creates the RSS feed. It integrates automatically with Spotify, Apple, Pocket Cast. I think I'm missing another one. And so I pressed, YouTube. So I press publish and it automatically publishes to all of those platforms. It sends an email to all of our subscribers and it looks great because you can customize the colors and all that. So the point that I was saying earlier where podcasting can feel overwhelming because even up until a few months ago, I feel like you had to have like 5 or more platforms from beginning to end. And now Substack really consolidates the hosting all the way to the emailing your audience. And we like hang up and it usually within 10 minutes, I've sent it out to the world and I'm on about my day.
Wow. That's crazy. That's great.
Yeah. And it's free. Their business model is to have you up, to create a community. That's the other thing I'll say about that I've learned a lot from Substack. Their like customer journey is so well dialed in. Their messaging and language, they make it so easy. It's like written for a 5th grader, which I love. I mean, like you do not have to be a tech person at all to do it. And so their business model is they want to try to get you to like 10, they kind of gamify it at the beginning. They want you to get 10 subscribers. And then ultimately they want you to offer a paid offering. And so we, of course, haven't done that yet. But I mean, we were just looking at our stats the other day. I mean, this is week 3 and we've got 30 subscribers on Substack. And then over the past 2.5 weeks, we've gotten 3,000, it's like 2,937 views.
Wow.
Hey, shout out to Seth Said What Nation out there, you guys.
Seth Said What Nation. And then I was gonna see they also have it's pretty basic, their statistics, but I was gonna see if it would here we go. Podcast. We've had 338 total downloads. Let's see here. Kind of tells us which were the most popular. It looks like Apple Podcasts is the top player outside of Substack. So yeah, I mean, we don't know what good is, but that's what it is so far.
That's awesome.
And our YouTube integration is not perfect yet. I'd say we're still figuring that out. But somewhere, and we talked about this a few days ago, somewhere I think we heard that YouTube's one of the top, if not the top podcast platform like now. And so we really do want to get that dialed in. And I think some of the transcription and, YouTube's algorithm may serve us pretty well based on some of the things we were saying earlier. So I'm excited to see once we get that on there. And again, this is all brought to you by the Ready Network. Our Seth Said What podcast is brought to you by Ready Network. That's Holly's company. And so we've tried to figure out how to best structure the brand and sub brands. And she wants to build out more podcasts. And so how should those all sit together under what, social media or YouTube channel structure? So it's a learning, we're in the process of learning all of that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I think for people listening to this, we've been talking to folks at MII for a while about just the importance of putting content out there, being relatable. I think the video aspect, one of the reasons why YouTube might be the leading platform is because of the video engagement. And I don't know about you guys, but YouTube is on at my house all the time. Like my kids don't watch TV; they watch YouTube. Which we've talked about this for years. But to get podcast content published out there, and what you're describing is such an easy, simple process to go from concept to reality.
Mm-hmm. And I do want to say one thing though that I was thinking about this morning as I was thinking about our time together today was Daniel. I know, well, all three of us are passionate about in the Christian media world that we hold ourselves to a high standard of excellence, because unfortunately, a lot of Christian media out there is not excellent. However, I also think, and this is one of the reasons why we're experimenting with this raw, unproduced, on our first episode, we're we don't have a plan. We don't know what we're doing, but that's intentional. And I think there's a difference with the vulnerable, authentic, we're intentionally being underproduced in this rather than, we have a plan, we've invested all of this money and it's still not excellent. But I just wanted to kind of maybe have us have that conversation, because I know especially with MII, all three of us have stood up there and said it needs to be excellent. But I also think in a time where we're inundated with media and there's no shortage of media, and especially with AI, one of my hot takes is that authenticity will win. I think people are craving, and we've gotten a lot of feedback on that, Daniel. People will say it's so cool, Holly's traveling and that's hilarious. And you guys, it's off the cuff. And so I think that's relatable for people rather than this polished, overproduced thing that a lot of folks do. And I think sometimes it's just a barrier to us getting started. It's well, it needs to be excellent. I need better equipment, or I need a better this or that. But if the content is good and authentic, I don't know that people really care that much. So that's kind of my opinion.
You're making me feel better about my battery dropping. So if anybody that's watching this, or if you were listening and you noticed a hard, awkward cut, my battery died. So I just switched back to my office. I'm not in the studio now. Mm-hmm. And it's there you go. This is not AI generated. It's
real life.
Yeah. It's not a hallucination. So
yeah.
Well, guys, thanks for sharing your experience and for doing this. It's always excellent to talk with you both, and I wish we could hang out more.
I know.
Let's make that happen.
Okay, Daniel, let's go to Montana. Let's do it.
Come on out. That'd be a great way to do it.
Yeah. Thank you for everything you're doing with the Digital Ministry Podcast. And as always, anything we can do to help support anyone who's listening. You guys are the ones that are doing the hard work out there. Many of you in areas where you aren't as resourced or where it's scary. And so thank you for your courage to put yourself and your ministry out there. If there's anything we can do to help you, we're here.
Go listen to Seth Said What on your favorite podcast platform.
Mm-hmm.
Subscribe, like, make comments.
That's right.
Do all the things.
Yes. Thank you, Nick.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, man.